We've reached this point. Normally, I would do a funny monologue, come on here and be like, oh, we got a lot of fun things to talk about. We've reached Jameis Winston. We have reached the pinnacle of quarterback mediocrity, the big name that everyone loves to talk about. Big Don, you are early. That name that just makes you cringe. Jameis Winston is coming into the building today for the New York Giants for a visit. We talk about Daniel Jones being the head coach killer. We talk about him being the franchise killer. If you want a poster child of a player who is very charismatic, how's that appeal? Hey, is this fun guy? Hey, but there's multitudes of problems with him. He wore out his welcome in Tampa. His last season was 33 touchdowns and 31 interceptions. We've talked about it before. It was a coach killer season. The next year, what do, Tampa? They go out and get Tom Brady and win a Super Bowl. Goes on to the Saints, try to revive his career. Had some good numbers with the Saints. Such a good player. They go out and get Derek Carr. Runs over to Cleveland to be that backup, to be that fill-in guy for Deshaun Watson. Throws some touchdowns, throws a bunch of interceptions. He sits there and he's got this fun attitude. Hey, I've got this fun attitude. He's like, I'm the king of interceptions. Yeah, it's nothing to write home about or get excited about. And that's kind of what I laugh at, that we have waited so long in free agents for Aaron Rodgers to make a decision, for the Russell Wilson domino to fall because of the Aaron Rodgers domino, that we are landing on Jameis Winston. It's not like when the Pilgrims landed on Plymouth Rock and we said, okay, there's something good could happen here. Nothing good could happen with Jameis Winston. I'm not saying he is a horrible quarterback. I'm not saying he is not an upgrade over Tommy DeVito. But what isn't an upgrade over Tommy DeVito? Seriously, literally, what is not an upgrade over Tommy DeVito? Think about that for a minute. But you don't need to go out and get the INT King as your quarterback. I've said it before. I still know some people in Tampa that I talk to now and then. I actually, and I've talked about a couple people that I said I know in and around the organization in Cleveland. They all say the same thing. Jameis Winston is a nice kid. He's not a kid anymore. He's a nice guy. His teammates like him until the interceptions start piling up. And then once the interceptions start piling up, the newness, the funness, the excitement of Jameis Winston goes out the fucking window. It's no longer, hey, James, we're having a good time with Jameis Winston. No, it's not. He set an NFL record his last starting season in Tampa. And that record will probably never be broken. It's going an entire season with never throwing a ball out of bounds. Think about that for a minute. You as an NFL quarterback, you never threw the ball once out of bounds. Instead, you either took the sack, the negative play, or the interception, which is that double negative. Why? And I'm not trying to be funny here. That's the sad part. I am literally not trying to be funny. Why? It's the same thing in Cleveland. He wore his welcome out in Cleveland. You wear your welcome out in Cleveland? NFL purgatory? You got some problems. You got some serious problems. And I don't know what else to say. We've waited so long to get a quarterback. We've waited so many minutes to get a quarterback. And at this point in time, we're turning to, we watched all these other. Easton Stick is still out there. We watched all these other quarterbacks turn different directions, go back to their teams, go to different franchises. Hell, even the Jets went out and got themselves a quarterback. We are sitting here. What is it? March 18th. And the New York Football Giants still do not have a quarterback. How is that possible? I mean, seriously, how is that possible? Quiet. The Giants awful quiet today. Is it all because we're worried about Jameis Winston? But how is that possible? How is it possible that we don't have? I'm going to get to a couple of these chats real quick here. Jason in Tampa says his teammates love him regardless. They know all the interceptions aren't all on him. Jason, I worked in Tampa. I worked for the Bucs. I still know people around the Buck organization. I was there when Mike Tomlin was the defensive back coach. I can tell you. I still know people that work in that building. Jameis Winston drove his teammates crazy. Why? And I'm going to give you right off the bat. He doesn't study. He'll even tell you he's not a film room guy. I'm not a film room guy. I don't go into that film room. He doesn't watch film. He doesn't help his own craft or his own trade. He doesn't. And to your idiotic point, Jason, already, man.
Think you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
We got Jason from Tampa is here. We already got our first Wonka of the day because I can't deal with stupidity today. But for some reason, I can't Wonka I can't Wonka people today because of the fact that my stupid thing is still not working right. I can't Wonka people. Why can't I Wonka people today? What the hell is going on here? Cleveland was trying to tank. Sure, they were trying to tank. And you want to know why they were? You know how they tried to tank? They started Jameis Winston. Oh, and more on Jason in Tampa. You know what? I lived through Craig Morton. I lived through Phil Simms. I lived through Scott Bruner. I lived through Jeff Rutledge. I lived through the likes of Joe Pisarcik. You know what else I lived through? I also lived through Danny Cannell, Kent Graham, Kerry Collins, and Eli Manning, and Daniel Jones, and Dave Brown. So shut the fuck up. Keep your mouth quiet. No one wants to hear you because you're a fucking moron. What's up, Big James? Boy, I'm so glad I was raised to know when to get out of an abusive relationship at draft night. We will do that. My brother, our cult leader. That's me, Big James. The cult leader is here. The cult leader has returned. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, Jason's on one of the other platforms. I can't Wonka Jason. I'll just ignore him. I can't wait for this one. Lol, let's go, says Big Blue Lifestyle. Big Don says, I'm early, and I'm early. The Giants are, Big Zach says, the Giants are waiting a quarterback who was washed up. Russell Wilson 8-7 with the Steelers. Then we had Fields go 4-2. People forget that Russell Wilson lost 6 games in a row last year at the end for the Steelers. 6 in a row. 6 in a row he lost. 5 in the morning, police at my door. They lost 6 in a row and a playoff game. So we're either going to wait to see if Aaron Rodgers can pass the drug test because you know he's gone somewhere on his retreat. He's gone on his retreat. Which I love. He's gone. Oh, we got to thank Big Don for gifting 5 online Big Blue Sports memberships. You get your memberships from Big Don. And you know what you get? You get all your videos early. You get special messages from me because it is special. Because I rode that little school bus. I'm kind of like Jameis Winston at quarterback. It's going to be special. It's going to be fun. If you're a season ticket holder like I was, it would drive you fucking insane. It would drive you crazy. Crazy. Big Daryl says, Tim and OB Crew, let's hit that like button. No to Winston. Winston is just, like I said, Winston is an enigma wrapped in a riddle who never worked on his craft as an NFL quarterback. Every coach tells you this, tells you the same thing. He does not study. He's not in the film room. He's not that type of guy. And to think that he is going to come in with he completed 61% of his passes last year. He's got a career passer completion of 61, 154 touchdowns, 111 interceptions. And this is what's going to lead the New York Football Giants into 2025, unless they draft someone. And I love it. Cleveland. I love the idiot from Tampa. Cleveland was tanking. Yeah, by starting Jameis Winston. Said this before a million times, guys. I'm going to say it again. Don't piss down my leg and tell me it's raining. Sorry. Speaks volumes for Joe and company. It really does. It truly speaks volumes for Joe and company. I literally don't know what to say about this. James, what's Big James Stein said? The Giants are just plain bad, stupid. But why they don't have any competent quarterback right now? You don't have any competent quarterback. You really don't. You have nothing. You have Tommy DeVito. And on this show, we love Tommy DeVito. And we all know why, because one day I'm going to put it on the sound. I'm going to have to take this sound off the soundboard because I don't want to ever play it again, because that would have to mean that Tommy DeVito is the starting quarterback. And honestly, I don't think I could handle the fact that Tommy DeVito is our starting quarterback, but here we go. Jersey. Sure. Tommy.
Wait for the beat to drop.
That's the only good thing about Tommy DeVito. I'm trying to get vitamins. I need vitamins. I need vitamins. Why? Because I am sick to my stomach that the New York Giants could potentially even go to this direction. I'm going to say it again. Easton Stick is still available. Let's go out and get Easton Stick. Why not? Let's go to the big board. We always go to the big board here. Let's see what free agent quarterbacks are currently still available. All right, Aaron Rodgers, Trey Lance, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, Carson Wentz, Case Keenum, Easton Stick, Josh Johnson, Teddy Bridgewater, C.J. Beathard, Russell Wilson, Tim Boyle, who we already had, Tyler Huntley, Brett Rippon, the Driscoll, the Riddler. That's your choices, guys. I want Easton Stick, because I got a lot of jokes to write about the shtick. That's who I want. We lost Azeez Ojulari to the Eagles for only $4 million. You know what's going to happen with Azeez Ojulari? We know what literally is going to happen with him. He is going to go to Philadelphia. Probably put up I don't know. He's probably going to have 11 sacks and play in 15 games. I was going to say he's not going to find the fountain of youth because it's not about finding the field. He is going to find the fountain of healthiness. He is finally going to be healthy and put it all together for an extended season. You know that's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. You know it. You know it. And he's going to do it for $4 million, turn around, and the Eagles are going to give him an extension like they did to Saquon Barkley. Big James says, hit that link. Bring back DJ for 2 years, $800 million. Well, that's not a bad plan. But too bad he already signed with Indianapolis. I love the there was a reel about Jameis Winston meeting not Jameis Winston, that Anthony Richardson meeting Daniel Jones. And the first response he had was, what the hell's a Daniel Jones? And they literally go on and say, well, he's the worst quarterback in the league. And he's like, well, why'd you bring him in here? And they're like, we're literally just asking you to beat the worst quarterback in the league. That's all we're asking you to. We're asking you to beat out training camp previously the worst starting quarterback in the entire league. I wouldn't even give Daniel Jones
$1 million.
He's not even worth that. Somewhere Dr. Evil's crying. The Dark Friend says, Shane looks weak as hell waiting on Rodgers. It's an embarrassment. I mean, you thought Hard Knocks was embarrassing. You thought that was you really did think that was an embarrassment, Hard Knocks. And then you thought to yourself, well, it can't get any worse. And I always hate saying that. But then you watch us literally waiting on Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has already basically said it's going to be Minnesota, Pittsburgh, retirement, the Giants. That's where we're waiting on. So unless there's something big in play for that first overall pick, and we're going to get one of the top two guys, because if you pick Jackson Dart, there will be an explosion in the ether coming out of Pennsylvania. You could literally, and I've already said it, watch the draft stream and open your window. No matter where you are in the country, no matter where you are in the world, and we do have a worldwide audience, and listen for the explosion. And you will literally hear me scream. And then what I want you to do is go outside and look for the mushroom cloud. Again, it won't matter where you are. That will literally be my brain exploding if they take Jackson Dart at 3, because it would be the stupidest move since Daniel Jones at 6. I love people talking. Jackson Dart completed 71% of his passes. Yeah, he also had 19 touchdowns in 5 games in 10 and 8. He also played the things like Southern Alabama, Furman, Duke. And you know what you beat? We throw 5 touchdown passes against the top liberal arts college in the South, also known as Furman. You're NFL material. Now, if you watch the Kentucky or the Florida game, yeah, you watched his completion percentage go down under duress. And he's not really a pocket quarterback, a pocket passer. And people say, well, Jalen Hurts isn't a pocket passer. Yes, but Jalen Hurts can throw the ball from the pocket. But you just look at those tiny little things. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again because we have a different audience today, because we're also on some other streaming platforms today. Go to YouTube. Keep this screen up. Go to YouTube. Oh, wait. Okay, now that you have the screen up, type in javelin throws. Okay, did you do that? Okay. Now watch that for a minute. I'm going to take a vitamin. You guys watch the javelin throw. Okay. Now that you've watched the javelin throw, I now want you to type in Jackson Dart go route combine. Okay. Now watch that. Watch that a little bit. Okay. Now tell me, what do you see? In reference to some of those deep throws. Because you are not going to be able to step up in the pocket like that and heave the ball like a javelin thrower, just so you could torque your body to get enough velocity to throw the ball 50 yards. While we said it on this show before, and I'm not saying even think about drafting Riley Leonard, because I think he's Sam Hartman. I thought Riley Leonard had a rag arm. I really did. Because you watched him throw at Duke, you watched what they did at Notre Dame. I thought he had a rag arm. Thought he couldn't throw the ball. Prove me wrong at the combine. Jackson Dart was the opposite. Don't think he has much velocity after 30 yards. That's what most scouts tell. This is what befuddles me about Jackson Dart. Most scouts before the combine, during the NFL, during the college football season, said Jackson Dart does not have the velocity on his deep ball, does not have the arm strength to go more than 30, 40 yards, with consistency and accuracy, is not a pocket passer. They said all these things about him. But then leading up to the combine, all of a sudden all that went away, and Shedeur Sanders sucks. Shedeur Sanders wouldn't be a 6th-round pick in this draft. They don't have a first-round grade on him, but Jackson Dart, they do. J.J. McCarthy, Mike Mamola. They might as well fire everyone, because it is no indication anything has been learned from the past mistakes. Great. Mr. Dave, Dr. Dave, you got it. Same offense is back without a quarterback, no plan, no direction, 1 win if we're lucky. If you take a look at our home schedule, we would be lucky to win a game at home. With no quarterback, I still see a 3-win team. With a quarterback. And this is the worst part. Listen, you look at the Giants free agency, and you look at most of the grades from the experts from the Giants free agency. And outside of Debo and Hollins actually had an off year last year in Miami. But outside of those two guys, everyone else is basically now you could argue with Ferguson, but I'm not going to argue with Ferguson because Ferguson was played out of necessity last year. Didn't play because he beat anybody. And this is the thing I don't get with Giant fans. He didn't beat anybody out. He played due to necessity, due to injuries on the defensive line. And they weren't a good team. Talked about it a million times before. When I played, I was not a good player, but someone still had to make the tackles. Didn't mean I was good. But you have no plan. You have no direction. And if you take a look at the free agency class, like I was mentioning, most analysts have it as a B minus, C plus. Because all your other signings are filler pieces that should have been signed day 3 or 4 in free agency. We signed most of them day 1. We signed a special teams linebacker and board out of Baltimore day 1. Most guys are working on these, either the big name free agents or the starting free agents or the mid-level free agents. We are filling the roster with backups because we think our biggest issue last year was that our backups didn't perform well when we had injuries. The problem is when that happens, it's also an issue with the fact that you don't have good starters. Sports Illustrated came out 2 days ago with the updated rankings, roster rankings. It went, I love this. It went Carolina at 32. 31 was Cleveland. 30 was the Giants. This is after all these wonderful free agent signings. I still have issues with, I'm going to go through this. I still have issues with Tyler Nubin as a safety. I think he should be more of a Peppers, Logan Ryan, Patrick Graham in the box safety. Quasi linebacker. And people forget 76% of the snaps for Logan Ryan and Peppers were played in the box under Patrick Graham's defense when it excelled. I think that's what Tyler Nubin should be because I have some issues with his coverage skills. You're hoping Drew Phillips, where the league completed almost 80% of their passes against for almost 10 yards of reception, who had 1 pass defense and 1 interception at the end of the year, which was a garbage interception, is going to be your third corner. Or he's going to be your slot guy. You're hoping Cordell Flott is something. You're hoping Tay Banks gets back to what he was. But if you look at the history of the Shane Bowen secondaries, it's not good outside of the safety play for the corners. He doesn't fit in the Bowen system. That's why he regressed after Wink left. And everyone forgets that Wink bear hugged Joe Shane to the point of almost unconsciousness when they drafted Banks because of the fact that he fit the Wink system. And I still love the fact that we want to talk about issues with Joe Shane. Just look at the draft that year for Banks. He jumped up one. He used a 7th rounder to jump 1 spot. And the team that drafted behind him didn't even take a corner. And that's not even a joke. We were at the draft party. What's up, Matthew? What's good, Tim and OB family? Jay Burrow says, let's buckle up for another terrible season. Writing is on the wall. Unless you get a quarterback. All this can potentially change if you get a quarterback. Because you still, I didn't go finish at the defense. Bobby Okereke took a step back. He did I call it the Blake Martinez sophomore jinx. Because he doesn't really fit in the Bowen system. You're going to rely on McFadden, who there was never a tackle he didn't want to miss. And then you have no outside linebackers. You have the Ghost Brothers on the ends who can't play the run, who we talked about ad nauseum, we said it how many times? I always go back to a happier time. Yes, there was once a happier time. It's the start of the season. James and I are in the skybox, drinking mimosas, getting ready to kick the shit out of Sam Bradford and the Minnesota fucking Vikings. That was like 30 minutes before kickoff. We're sitting up in the suite, enjoying ourselves, with the stellar view. And what happened? The game started. And everything went downhill from there. And that's what I think is going to happen this year. There's going to be all this buildup. There's going to be all this. Everyone's just going to be so excited, and then it's just going to drop off the planet. What do we got here? Apologist. I'm such a liar. How am I a liar? I'm not a liar. Not a liar at all. You know what you are? You are a fucking asshole.
Nothing. You lose.
So goodbye.
Good day, sir.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. Let's see here. Herbology says, what's up, Tim? Big Blue Nation. Please save us from the giant fans and content creators that are okay with Jackson Dart at 3. Jackson, Mr. Taz. I love Mr. Taz, the Eagle fan. The Giants can still sign Carson Wentz. They could. Carson Wentz is on the list. Carson Wentz is on the list. James Williams said, hey, Big James, everyone. They keep saying Winston. Guess what? Joe Shane is a Winston of GMs. He throws crap in the air and hopes for the best. People keep talking about drafting, what's his name, Mason Graham, to have a running mate with Dexter Lawrence. But you just went out and signed Ferguson. Here's the problem with that. The interior of the line is not the issue. It's the edge. We've said it the last year of Joe Judge during that Cleveland practice. They showed the league how to beat the Giants. Was that 4 years ago now? Off tackle left, off tackle right, off tackle left, off tackle right. Run up the middle, over the top. And it's the same thing. Nothing's changed. Nothing's different. Matthew says, waiting around for Rodgers is stupid. They should prioritize Russell or even someone like Fields. Here's the problem with prioritizing with Russell. Russell doesn't want to be here either. Aaron Rodgers goes to Minnesota or retires. Russell goes back to Pittsburgh. Think about it. Mike Tomlin calls you up and said, hey, Russell, we want you to come back. We want you to start one more year for the Steelers. We want to make that big playoff run with you. We got DK Metcalf. We got you everything we need to make this happen. Where are you going to go? I'm going to New York to lose. What's up, Big Greg? Big T says, I'm pulling up to the DJ's Bellarmine with Tommy DeVito jersey all summer. Wait for the beat to drop. You got to go to Belmar, man. Belmar, New Jersey. I'm from Seaside, though. When I lived in Jersey, I grew up in Jersey, man. So I'm from Seaside Heights. And of course, you don't go to the beach, go to the shore. Head down the shore. And he gets intercepted, James. Greg says, sup, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like button. Make sure you hit the like button. How many likes do we have today? I'm on a road to nowhere. Kind of like the New York Football Giants, right? 29, 88 people in the chat, 29 in there. We got 170 something someplace else. I don't know what we got. We got people all over the place watching today. Did Daniel Jones give him the googly eyes? Whatever could you mean? Remember when we were good? Remember when we were good? I do. I remember when we were good for the first time in 81. Oh, but the stupid idiot from Tampa, I forgot about him. Did DJ give him got that Google eyes? Hey, what's up, Tim? Hey, Tim, should the Giants sign Winston if Rodgers decide to call it a career after 20 years? No. Get Easton Stick. Hey, Greg. Kareem, what's going on, baby? Where you been? He must be working. Working, man. Doing his thing. Matthew says, we need a Cam or Sanders. If they pick Dart, it's going to be Rodney King all over again, lol, in Jersey. No, that's not. Got to go there. My 2 cents says, turn on the reason Joe Shane eats PB&J sandwiches daily, and he has the capability of a 7-year-old. Please, not Winston. First of all, it's Uncrustables. He eats rich man PB&J, driving his electric car to the studio with his wife in his bedazzled hat playing Uno because he's relatable. I keep saying that Hard Knocks was the Shane family audition for a reality show, for their own reality show. I keep saying this to people. I really do. Big James putting the chat sports on flames. Oh God, what did you do now? Is Kareem wants to know, is Shane ready to take a swing? Swing gonna miss. Try the corner. Oh my God, I hope. I mean, why keep waiting for a guy? The good news is you're not holding up your free. I don't know if you're holding up your free agency, to be honest, because of the fact that you signed basically day 3 and 4 guys on day 1. And you signed, like I said, I like the Debo if he's healthy, and if the femur. No, I don't want to hear anything about the backflips. Don't want to hear about the backflips, because unless there is a reason for you to do an NFL backflip in a game, I don't want to hear about it, because it means shit. It means nothing. A lot of people with broken femurs in the NFL never come back to what they were. So that's a problem. That's an issue. That is an issue. Oh, now we go. Now we were late. I didn't hit the go live thing on this other platform, but we were late. So we're gonna try to we're gonna see what's going on with there. They should never take Dart at 3. Dart is way too early at 3. Travis Hunter for sure if both quarterbacks are off the board. Maybe then take a quarterback in the second with the 31st pick. I don't have a problem with you taking I don't have a problem taking a quarterback later in the draft if there's someone you're in love, if there's someone you are really enthused and infatuated with. I mean, if you even want to take Jackson Dart that low, or not that low, that high, I should say, I would still be pissed you wasted a second round pick on Jackson Dart. But if there is some rationale and reasoning for doing it, then I'm okay. And Travis Hunter, to me, here's the thing with Travis Hunter. The Travis Hunter boat kind of left the dock because he's a corner / wide receiver. You signed a Debo and you re-signed Darius Slayton. And you gave Darius Slayton second wide receiver money. And you still have Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt. So where are you going to play Travis Hunter? I think if they don't take a quarterback at 3, they're going to do something dumb, like taking a pass rusher or Mason Graham, or are taking another offensive lineman. Do not underestimate Shane. It says David. Daryl says if Joe wasn't so desperate, he could just cut bait with Rodgers. And this is that's the thing. Just give up on the Aaron Rodgers thing. Move on. Give up. It's okay. It's okay to say, listen, we took our bet. Aaron Rodgers is now saying that he may wait till the draft to make a decision. He might wait till the draft. That's even crazier than the other shit. Actually, we have 86, and now we have 29 likes. T-Brad, I'm way behind. I'm always way behind. Let's see. He picked a wide receiver before even he had a quarterback. We're not going to get into that. There's no need to fall back down in that conundrum. We talked about it for Joe Shane had the opportunity last year to trade out of the pick. Trade out of 6, probably grab Penix, move back up into the first round, and grab someone like a Ladd McConkey or a Bryce Thomas Jr. or hell, even a Keenan Coleman. And you just fixed the scenario for your team. Daryl says if Joe wasn't so desperate, he could cut bait with Roger. Already got that one. This is a great point. That is a great point. Greg says, if the Giants pick Jackson Dart, there will be a seismic activity along Sweden, and the MetLife Stadium will be washed away by the tidal wave, also known as the tsunami. There will be a tsunami rumbling through MetLife all the way from Sweden. Some people won't get that. Does Shane have Mara hypnotized? Oh, maybe it does. Phil says, Joe Shane, I'm taking swings at the. Oh, this is great. I'm taking swings at the position. It's the most important submission. It's hard to find them, so keep swinging. I still go back to Hard Knocks and him talking to Ryan Poles before the draft, and he was telling Ryan Poles, well, at least you're going to have a quarterback. I have to keep looking for one. I got to keep doing my research. You got to stop doing your research and actually just sign one or draft one. We've said this before. Joe Shane, if you were ever a car salesman, I worked in a car dealer or sold motorcycles or anything, you always have those people that come on the lot. And the old analogy is a person doesn't come on the lot unless they're buying, unless they're interested. And that's not true. Sometimes people come in the lot just that's why they're called tire kickers. And some people just look. They window shop. They dream. That's what Joe Shane does, I think. And he's afraid to pull the trigger and make a decision because what if he, God forbid, what if he makes a mistake? But the problem is he's made so many other mistakes. Literally, what's one more? What's one more mistake? The Giants are waiting on Rodgers just so they can get Rodgers and they can justify not taking Sanders. Wait for it. I like I said, Rodgers has basically spelled it out. Minnesota, Pittsburgh, retirement, the Giants. What are we waiting on? Phil wants to know, how's that going, Joe? 25 like 80 views. Let's fix that. It takes 10. It doesn't even take 10 seconds, T-Brad. It takes like, I don't know. Hold on, let me click like. It took me a minute. It took me. I'll say it took me a minute. I don't hit the like button. T-Brad says, Greg, what's up, brother? Matthew says, I always slap that like button when I enter. Y'all need to do the same. Tim, do you have a direction? It's called down, down, down. T-Brad says, we're dropping worse than the economy. Yeah, but the economy can be fixed. I don't think the Giants can be. I think people have. We're not going to get on the economy. People actually don't fully understand the economy. Don't really fully understand the concept of tariffs. A great prime example is there's a liquor store chain in Canada that removed all American-made alcohol from their shelves because of the tariffs. Someone might have already wanted to tell them that they had already purchased the liquor, so they're not going to get re-tariffed on their own stock. Just going to throw that out there. Just throwing that out there. So you already paid for it, so you're basically going to punish yourself by not selling it because you're not going to put an increased price on something that you didn't pay a tariff on. James says, you guys need to go back and watch Pittsburgh for the Jets last year and tell me why do we need to sign Rodgers over Wilson? So bad. Giants can still sign Carson Wentz. I know I read that one already, but the Patriots are asking a third-round pick for Joe Milton. I like Joe Milton. I did a whole video about Joe Milton. And I said in that video, you can go back and watch it. There's a picture of Joe Milton right on the cover, right on the thumbnail. Right before the draft, I listed the top surprise quarterbacks after the top 7. And Joe Milton was one of them. I said, Joe Milton has the arm. Joe Milton has the ability. Joe Milton has all the intangibles. He has the size. He has the strength. He has the touch. You got the touch. He's got everything you need in reference to playing quarterback in the NFL. His season was comparable to A.R. Richardson, who the year before went in the first round. And you know, he filled in admirably when Hendon Hooker went down a year prior to that. But I said it over and over again, it doesn't make you an NFL quarterback. It doesn't make you successful in the NFL just because you have all the intangibles and you have all the attributes. And he beat a team last game of the season where the fans got mad at him for beating a team, but he showed promise. But he's not worth a third-round pick. Hell, he was worth a 7th-round pick last year. Sorry, tuning in from work. That's all right. You can tune in from work. He was worth a 7th-round pick last year. I still think he's worth a 7th-round pick this year. I would take Milton for a 3rd and a heartbeat. I can't do it to you, Brad. Yeah, we have an extra 3rd because of everything, because of the compensatory picks. But I can't take Joe Milton. Tim, you said you want to hear a baller, Tim. Carson Wentz is a dictionary picture of a hero ball. I remember Carson Wentz. People forget Carson Wentz was actually having an MVP season the year he went down and the Eagles won the Super Bowl. And well, you're going to know that, Mr. Tess. And Nick Foles stepped in. Now let's see. Jose's be lucky. We win 2 games. Yeah. Walla Walla Walla. What's up? Let's face it. No matter who the Giants get at quarterback, it'll be the wrong choice. They have been their MO for years. One with actual talent was we just released. The Jameis Winston thing, it just doesn't make sense. Into the one idiots like you to talk to me. Yeah, I did talk to people. And I still know people in and around Tampa, and they'll tell you the same thing. Jameis Winston is maddening. The same thing with Cleveland. He's fun. You're fun when you're fun when you're winning. You could be. We've said it before. You can be truculent. You can be jocular. You can be all those things with the media when you're winning. But when you're losing and you're 2-5, and you talk about being the king of interceptions, you just come off to being the prince of interceptions or whatever the hell it was. You just come off like an asshole. And do you think that's going to play in New York? It didn't play in Tampa, New Orleans, or Cleveland, and you think that's going to play in New York? Yowza. Jackson Dart is not better than Kyle McCord. I have tried to hate Kyle McCord. Talked about, how many times have we talked about this? I have literally tried to hate Kyle McCord. I watched it, and because of Big Don, who gave out the memberships to the online Big Blue Club. I watched almost all the Syracuse games because of Big Don, because he's a Syracuse fan, and I wanted to pick on him. And I tried to hate McCord, really did, because of everything that happened at his previous stop. How his head coach wouldn't commit to him, how he wasn't even sure they were going to start. He was going to start the bowl game, and I really wanted to. Then you watched him all season. Then you watched him against Miami. And then you watched all these other games. And you're like, he's a pretty stand-up quarterback. He's a guy that can matriculate the ball down the field. And we've talked about it before. You want to talk about a guy between 15 to 20 yards being surgical? That's Kyle McCord. And he still has the deep pass. That's pretty what you call it. That's pretty impressive. And then he goes to the combine and you watch him throw, and he was probably one of the best out there. And I try to hate him. And I watched Jackson Dart. And I think I had in my quarterback rankings coming out of the combine, I had Kyle McCord. I should say my quarterback rankings from the combine. Who had the best combine performance? Kyle McCord, I believe I had number 1. And then I had Jackson Dart somewhere around 7. And I still don't see anything different. And then Jackson Dart's gonna have his pro day. Everyone's going to go crazy over his pro day. But the pro day is a scripted event that he will spend a month working on. Everyone looks good at their pro day. Nobody looks bad. There are some quarterbacks that have looked bad at their pro day, but no one really looks bad at their pro day. So that's what's going to happen to Jackson Dart. Philosophy Stoner says Shane is getting us up to get hosed if we trade up for a quarterback. What's that? What does Zach Attack say to James Williams? I'm convinced the NFL put a hex on the Giants. No, we know what put a hex on the Giants. Benching Eli Manning. We all know when the hex started. When the curse started. We all know. It's when we said in that game against the Raiders that we were going to take a look at the young quarterback. And instead of going with the likes of Davis Webb, who was on the roster, the young quarterback we wanted to take a look at was, of course, Geno Smith, who had already been a starter for 4 years with the Jets, who was already 27 years old. All of a sudden,
this place is cursed.
The curse fell upon MetLife. Like the Billy Goat over the Red Sox. T-Red said, I would not trust Joe Shane to manage my fantasy football roster. He probably doesn't manage his own. Matthew said, ain't that a bitch? Mayor has somehow drained all the pride and respect from this franchise. Can you literally imagine, though, Jameis Winston rolling up as your starting quarterback week 1 and you take like a Mason Graham? Could you imagine that? I'd be like, thank God I'm not a season ticket holder anymore. You think the tank for Arch is on? I hope to God not. I really do. I hope not. Because that would just be crazy and insanity at its finest. James says, if Shane is waiting so hard for Rodgers, then how do we even focus on the draft? And that's what kills me. That's what kills me. Think about that for a minute. You don't have a quarterback. Let's say Aaron Rodgers says, don't forget to hit the like button. Let's just say Aaron Rodgers says it out loud. Think about that for a second. You're going into the draft and Aaron Rodgers is still waiting somehow to find, he's still smoking his stuff, doing his meditation. And he's still waiting. You go in the draft. How do you, and let's say Shedeur Sanders falls to 3. Do you take Shedeur Sanders or do you continue to wait for Aaron Rodgers? James, I said this to James Williams the other day. Joe Shane reminds me like he's going to the prom. Reminds me of a kid going to the prom. He's sitting home. He's got his tux on. He's got his boutonniere or his corsage, whatever you want to call it. And it's the night of the prom, and he's waiting by the phone. Because he still doesn't have a date. He's waiting by the phone. He's waiting for the phone to ring. The only problem is he never asked anybody out. That's the problem. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Zach Attack says, Seaside Hugs, home of the best pizza on the shore. Marcus Tomato Pies. Yeah, people don't forget, and like I said, the slices you get on the boardwalk, man, Seaside. I mean, they're like this fucking big, man. You got to fold them to eat them. The grease goes everywhere. Oh, it's terrible. It's also good at the same time. Mr. Taz says, googly eyes. He never takes anything personally. Chris, let's see. I'd be mad if I missed out on both quarterbacks and then got Hunter, but I'm all for Ward or Sanders if they're there. Sign me up. Sign me up. I like either one. And now I like Shedeur Sanders more because of people just doubting his ass and saying that he's not going to be a good quarterback because he's too arrogant and cocky and not a good fit. Caleb Williams was a crybaby. Had a terrible rookie season, even though it was almost identical to Bo Nix. And somehow Bo Nix had a wonderful rookie season with more talent on a playoff team. But I want Sanders now just because I want him to shut people up. Because I think he's going to, I don't know if he's going to be a Pro Bowler, but he's going to be an NFL quarterback. Jameis Winston, even when the Knicks were bad, we still are going to get the elbow from Charles Oakley in 2 pieces with a biscuit from Chris Childs. We like to throw out not Charles Oakley, but Chris Childs. James and I like to throw out obscure Knicks like Shannon Anderson and talk about them. And you gotta give a big shout out to the Heart. Triple-double yesterday. Beats Miami after the terrible game before. Josh Hart comes up like 7-up yesterday. Brunson is still out for another 2 weeks. We got to hang on to that 3rd spot. By hook or by crook, we got to stay far away from Cleveland, at least to the latter parts of the rounds. Do you think Browns take Shedeur, or will he fall to us? It's weird that they keep saying that they want to stay away from Shedeur, but I think a lot of that in Cleveland's a smokescreen. You would be silly not if he was there not to take him. You're in such quarter. I mean, the Giants are in quarterback hell, purgatory, and everything in between, which would be purgatory. Yeah, that would be purgatory. But at this point in time, Cleveland, I would be less surprised if the Titans didn't go with anybody. If the Titans went at Travis Hunter, went on Abdul Carter, I would not be shocked because of the fact that they've already talked about trying to bring in like a Russell Wilson or someone such as that, because of the fact that the owner, and I can't remember her name, she's been the owner for the last couple of years now. They're still a little leery that they whiffed on both Malik Willis and Will Levis. And Malik Willis is on the final year of his third-year deal, and Will Levis is in the third year of his 4-year deal, being a second-round pick. Because of course we all know there is no option on second-round picks. Craig says Joe Shane might as well get Century 21 signed on his lawn. He will not have a job next year. I don't think he's going to have a job by Thanksgiving, because we talked about how all the question marks on the defense. We haven't even touched the offense. You sign a swing tackle. And I've never been a proponent of Pro Football Focus, but you sign a swing tackle whose rankings or ratings on Pro Football Focus are so bad, and then you sign another guard whose rankings are so bad, and these are the guys that are going to back up the guys that are already bad. You hope Andrew Thomas is going to be healthy. You hope that JMS, who literally gave up the most sacks by a center in the league last year, is going to figure it out. You're hoping that Evan Neal is going to be a guard. You're hoping that John Runyon, whose pass blocker rating is better than his run blocker rating by a lot. And the nicest thing they could say about him and when he left Green Bay is don't pull the guard because he trips over his own feet. And the guy that they drafted in the 3rd round to replace him became an all-pro. But don't worry, we gave him money. We gave him $10 million. Can you imagine the Cowboys trading up to 4 for Travis? Oh, actually, I could. I can imagine the Cowboys trading up to 2 for Sanders. We better not trade up for the last quarterback since 2011. Have been traded up for. Not a good track record. But to your point, KB, to the point here, and to what we've talked about before. We've said it how many times? Well, Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you never take. If you don't swing the bat, you don't take the bat off the shoulder and swing, you're never going to know. And we never swing. We need to swing. Merle, swing away. Merle, swing away, Merle. I'll wait to see who got that movie. We did movies the other day, which was a lot of fun at the end, the last half hour of the show. That's another quotable movie. Swing away, Merle. Merle. Swing away. Let's see here. Neighbors was the best available player on the board. Can't fault him for that. Yeah, I can. Watch me fault him for that. Were you a Malik Neighbors away from being good? Because he played almost the entire season. Were you a Brian Burns away from being competitive? Or were you a quarterback and a wide receiver away from having... Because you got to remember, one season does not equate to an entire career or a legacy. And that's what Joe Shane does. And that's what Brian Daboll they're doing now. They're playing for the season. They're not playing for the longevity of this franchise. So you taking Malik Neighbors was a good pick, yeah. But you can't tell me you couldn't trade out of 6, get assets, and take a quarterback and a wide receiver in the same draft when Brian Thomas Jr. and Ladd McConkey had better statistical seasons than Malik Neighbors. And Brian Thomas Jr. did it with Mac Jones. So, yeah, I can fault him on that because he didn't think. He took the easy route out, and that's what Joe Shane does all the time. Because you know what? Some people say I'm a genius, but how hard? I mean, how can you really screw up 5 and 7? Well, you did a great fucking job. At this point, if you love Russell Wilson this much, why not just sign him? That's the other thing. That's the other thing. If you are in love with Russell Wilson, who you have dissed now for 3 years, because it was brought to my attention the other stream and I forgot about it, that we didn't want Russell Wilson. We looked into trading for Russell Wilson when he was with the Broncos. We didn't do it. He was our first stop on the quarterback. Russell Wilson, I only won $1.6 million tour before he went to Pittsburgh, and we told him no. We don't. You're not going to compete for a job against Daniel Jones. And now we're going to take Russell Wilson if Aaron Rodgers isn't available. Maybe Sierra is looking for a paycheck, because that's the only way I can understand someone just basically snatching your balls and throwing him on the ground and say, you're not good enough to beat out the 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers, even though you both have the same amount of Super Bowl wins and you have more Super Bowl appearances. But you're not good enough, and you made the playoffs last year, but you're not good enough to beat out Aaron Rodgers. Okay, get the fuck out of here. We will use you if Aaron Rodgers decided not to go. What's up, EC Football One? Your thoughts on Azeez Ojulari, or somehow you're close. This is Azeez Ojulari. Ojulari. You know what he's going to do? He's going to stay healthy for 15 games, and he's going to get like 10.5 sacks. That's the Giants' modus operandi. In reference to players going to Philadelphia outside of Steve Smith and Ruben Randall. I think he's going to be fine in Philadelphia. I think he's going to be a situational player in Philadelphia. I think the Eagles are going to love him. I really do. He could be their this year version of Zach Bond. But I think Azeez Ojulari was probably our best pass rusher last year, even though he didn't play often enough. We should have traded him. I love it. He was healthy at the trade deadline. But I'm Joe Shane. I'm not going to trade him because we're still in this. We got 2 wins. We're still in this. I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to get assets, draft assets. What am I going to do with those? Take a McKeithen? Take a Darren Beavers? You fools. I'll just blow them. Anyways. And I keep thinking about this. Do you go back to Joe Shane's draft classes and really look at them? And really examine them. Okay. Darren Beaver's gone. McKeithen's garbage. DJ Davidson's garbage. McFadden is a good player. Not even a good player. He's an okay player who misses a lot of tackles that you can't rely on in coverage. Dane Belton, dear Lord, how is Dane Belton even on this fucking team still? I have no idea. Dane Belton is an enigma wrapped in a riddle because everyone loves him, but he's not good. He was benched for almost a year because he kept blowing his assignments. And then I love the people because they talk about, did you see that interception that he had? But then I mentioned, did you see the fact that he was a trailer on like 5 consecutive touchdowns after that wonderful interception he had? Did anyone think about that? I used to have a photo, and I don't have it anymore, but I used to have a photo, and it showed him getting burned. He gets burned by everyone. Elvis Toast Patterson is even he's no longer Toast. It's Dane Belton. Bellinger. Cordell Flott. Joshua Azuda. Wan'Dale Robinson. I loved it. We said it during the draft, and when he was taken in that second round. When you get pulled down from behind at Kentucky, you have 78. You have what? Almost 100. You almost have 100 attempts thrown your way, and only 78 receptions at like 5 yards a catch. You got 100. I love it. You have 176 receptions in your 4-year career for 1,415 yards. But somehow he's going to turn the corner this year. Evan Neal. He's not 5th-year option's not getting picked up. Kayvon Thibodeau. We're not even getting out of that. You're gonna go into Owens from 2013, gone. Jordan Riley, another one, gone. Should be gone. Trey Hawkins finally gets his shot. And I love it because how many times in the show have we talked about shoulder tackles? Shoulder tackles are the career killer. They really freaking are. I've talked about this a million times before. How do you do it? Ask Cooper DeJean. You wrap up, you lead. You lead with your shoulder. You wrap up, you lift, you drive with your legs and your hips, and you drive the guy into the ground. The Giants somehow in the Shane Bowen defense, we preach shoulder tackles. We throw your little shoulder and try to knock the guy off balance and knock him out of the bounce. So what happens? Trey Hawkins, who has been miserable, finally gets in, starts playing a little bit decent. And what happens? He does a shoulder tackle and hurts his shoulder and is out for the rest of the year. Eric Gray, the Gray Ghost, man. He's got to have pictures of somebody to be on this team. 31 attempts, 79 yards. Jalen Hyatt, 31 receptions, 434 yards. JMS undersized center, and everyone's already complaining about Deontay Banks. Then you take the kid out of UCLA, who was basically a special teamer, Tyrone Tracy, who had a good year at 192 carries for 839 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also fumbles and disappears quite a bit. And he's one of the Saquon Barkley moments where he will run the ball 17 times for 20 yards, but then he'll break one for 60. That's not consistency. We have to wait and see what he is. Theo Johnson. Phillips again. You already know how I think about Phillips. And then you have Newman, and then you have Neighbors. I think the only solid players he picked in 3 years that are unquestionable starters in the NFL that could start for any 31 other teams is Neighbors and Neighbors. That's why we don't want Joe Schoen to have draft assets. Let's see here. I need my all-white brothers and sisters, says James, to tell Rodgers that he's over-abusing the white privilege. Hey, Tim, I already got your thoughts on that, my brother. Oh, I know I'm behind, though. Joe Milton says Milton could ball out with 2 quarterback-friendly college programs. I digress. Like I said, Joe Milton has the physical traits. You look at Joe Milton and go, that dude could be an NFL quarterback. You look at his size, look at his strength, you look at his ability, you look at his speed, you look at his arm strength, you look at all the intangibles, and you say NFL quarterback. But the problem is that doesn't mean you're an NFL quarterback. It just means you have the physical attributes and traits to be one. And that's why I would never take a third. Would you trade up for Cam? If so, what would you give up? The rumor has it that they were saying 2/3 in the swap of the firsts. I would do that. To get Cam Ward to go up 2 spots, I'd give up 2/3, and you got an extra third. And you could still blow your second round pick on a punter. So why not? Johnny Rico says, I'm Joe Schoen. If I signed a veteran quarterback for the draft, I wouldn't wait on Rodgers too much long term. And that's the other thing. Does anyone really think that Rodgers is a long-term solution for the Giants? You're going to need a quarterback next year. I've said this before. The Giants, and this is what I'm fearing, and I see more and more. The Giants rather be relevant than good. They would rather own the back page for a week than actually own the city for 5 years. What's up, David? Even when the Giants get Rodgers, if he's 42 years old, he's 40 years old. We're going to be 41. And gets Warren, Tom Brady gets injured. Well, like the Jets, we don't even have Zach Wilson to take over. We don't. The prom analogy is vicious. Oh, the prom. Giants clown, I talk a lot. So, and I'm old, so I don't remember a lot of the things I say. So I want to thank you on that one, because I don't remember a lot of the shit I say. But thank you on that. That was a good one, the prom analogy. Should the Giants trade for the number 3 in the fourth round for Trevor Lawrence? Trevor, you're not going to. Your two teams. Listen, I like Sunshine. I like Trevor Lawrence. But 2 teams would wreck their salary caps doing this. We're at 43 likes. What does T-Brad always say here? I'm going to do this here. I'm going to hit this button here. Hit that button there and see what the like count is. We're at 47 likes. Let's get to 50. We have 108 people watching on the YouTube sphere. We got another 100 and something. I don't know. We have another 118 on that other platform. And we got another 100 and something watching on that other platform. We're just media moguls. Shador is less athletic than Daniel Jones. Weak arm.
Think you gonna get away with it? Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Did you watch any of the Jackson State games? Did you watch any of the Colorado games, Brady? Did you watch any of them? Just I am literally questioning now your validity as a fan. because I cannot think of one scout that has ever said that he does not have an NFL caliber arm. I can't think of one. I really can't. They'll talk about, again, we talk about his surgical accuracy. He completes 74.2% completion rate. This is a kid that can hit the timing route, understands it, lightning quick release. Don't talk about, now, like I said, coming out of college, Spencer Rattler had one of the quickest releases I've seen since Dan Marino. Doesn't mean you're an NFL quarterback again, but Shedeur has that lightning release. Now, if you want to say anything about his arm strength in reference to Shedeur Sanders, after watching him play in college for 2+ years now, he's overconfident in his arm. He thinks he could do anything with his arm. So Brady, I have watched the film. I've watched a lot of film on Shedeur Sanders. I watched a ton of film on Shedeur Sanders. Now, show me one scout that does that for a living that has ever said Shedeur Sanders does not have an NFL arm. I'll wait. Of course, you're probably going to go, Chat Sports, May Smart. Oh, that phrase trade.
Get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Brady, you're in timeout. Sanders and Ward are 2 minute challenge to merit to spend a first round pick on, especially a top 3 at quarterback. My 2 cents. What's up, my 2 cents? It's all an evil plan by Merit to get the fan base ready to embrace Arch Manning and the new regime. Arch Manning's not coming out for at least 2 years. That's what sucks. And we don't even know if Arch Manning's even good. We've seen a small sample size. We have to see Archie Manning over a period of time. Everyone raved. Chris Sims, the number 1 quarterback prospect coming out of Jersey. I think he was either number 1, number 2 coming out of the nation when he came out and went to Texas. Couldn't even beat out Major Applewhite. Then he was so good, he went in the second round. I don't know. Jalen Miller's physical trolls beyond tantalizing. He is really enticing. Pause. We're going to do what they refer to as a cesur, which is a dramatic pause. Hold on. He's really enticing. Jalen Milroe, if you want to talk about a person at the combine that made his stock shoot up, it's Jaden. Trenton, what's up, Trenton? See Trenton in there. Trenton, my Eagles, I picked up Azeez Ojulari on a one-year deal. I think he has potential. I do too. I think you guys got another good player. Jalen Milroe really helped his stock. I watched his throws. I saw how well he did throw at the combine, and I was actually I was pleasantly surprised. And one of the things that I laugh at the most when people talk about Jackson Dart. Oh, Jackson Dart and his accuracy in college. Jackson Dart and all these wonderful things that he does. He led all of college football on the average pass completed at like 10 points. Or what was it, 11? I think it was like 10.9 yards. Oh, that just makes him a stellar player, Jackson Dart. Do you know who was third in college football yesterday for that in that same category? You know who was third? Jalen Milroe. So statistically, that means shit. I'm just watching some of these things on the WNBA and Jalen. Oh, here's I found my list for I'll get to the WNBA in a second. I found my list on I did a top 9 combine list of groups and who had the best combine. I got Kyle McCord, Brady Cook, and I had Jalen Milroe third because he's really worked on his release. He's really worked on his throwing motion. He's really worked on his footwork, and you could see it paying off. And I'm not taking Jalen Milroe in the second round, maybe third, maybe fourth round, but I'm not taking Jalen Milroe in the second round. We need a reliable kicker. We're going to lose games that as well. Yeah, we're going to lose the games for a lot of reasons. The tank for Arch is ticking me off because there were other top quarterback prospects we could have tanked for. Fans are like, we don't have to tank. We believe in Jones. Some fans are as dumb as Shane. We didn't have to tank 2 years ago. We didn't have to tank. There was a plethora of quarterbacks available to us. But we didn't have to tank. Y'all signed a pass rusher from the Cards. Tim just sent you a tweet from the news. You sent me a tweet. Tweet. You Roxon. Agreed with. Who the hell is Victor? Whatever his name is. I love James Williams because James Williams is a big football fan, and we're on the phone and we're on the stream, and James basically says, I'm a football fan, but I got no idea who we're signing, and I always think of this.
Ricky Vaughn, Willie Hayes. I never heard of most of them. Mitchell Friedman? Who are these fucking guys?
And I love it because this card edge rusher, 55 games, 8 total starts, 4 career sacks. Oh, can we just pencil this in for the Super Bowl now? Where's the Super Bowl this year? I'm going to call my travel agent and get him to book my ticket. Where is it? Where's that Giants Super Bowl? Winston brings offense, something the Giants know nothing about. Winston plays offensive. I think you mean to say. Let's pray. Cleveland is still that dumb. I hope so. Dan the Man says, I say the Titans take Ward and then the Raiders trade up and get Sanders at 2. What's up, C. Sanders? What's up, Mr. Sanders? I thought for a minute it was Shador. Mr. Alvarez says, if I still believe in Milroad, he's hella raw, but I refuse to believe a dude who played so well against Georgia, a top 10 program, doesn't have potential. He just needs to find consistency. Jalen Milrow has an arm like a bazooka. But his problem is, to your point, finding consistency in his footwork, his throwing motion, and understanding that on a 5-yard out, you can't throw it through the barn door. I always talk about the former Philly, Pete Incaviglia. Inky. He wasn't a Philly, though. He started out with the Texas Rangers. He came right out of college, went right into the pros. Whoa, what a guy. He was a strong-armed guy. And there was a day that they were just throwing the baseball against the outfield. And evidently, Inky took the ball and literally threw it through the outfield wall. And that's what that's what Milrow's going to have to understand. There's a time for touch. There's a time for velocity. He is going to have to learn consistency. And that's going to make him a pro. And he's going to have to be consistent with his throwing motion, with his footwork. And he's going to be a work in progress. Take him in the 4th round. I got no problem with that. You take a sign and swing the tackle that has no swing. That's your 2 cents. James, I respect Chris Dudley more than Shannon Anderson. I liked Chris Dudley, actually. He played well at times. Yeah, old Victor, 55 games, 8 starts, full sacks. That guy is a wrecking crew. Neighbors had 1,000-yard season with Daniel Jones. He was worse than Mac Jones. Just not okay. I'm not even gonna get into it. Okay, I'm gonna get into it for a second. How many more times was Malik Neighbors targeted than Brian Thomas Jr.? Go look that up and get back to me before you get wonked. Matthew says, historical rookie season for Neighbors didn't stop him as being one of the worst teams in the league. I don't even think it was historical. That's what I don't get. I really think Odell Beckham, who missed time, had a better rookie season than and more of an impactful rookie season than Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is the king of I don't get a yak. And it wasn't until the end of the season did he finally get some yak. Malik Neighbors only played in 12 games his rookie seasons for 1,305 and 12 touchdowns. With an 80-yard, his longest was 80 yards. Averaged 14.3 yards a reception. That's called yak. Malik Neighbors, who I love as a wide receiver, had 109 catches and only 11 yards of reception for 1,200 yards. He was targeted 170 times. His catch success rate was only 51, and his longest was only 59. But somehow, Odell Beckham, who had a 70% catch percentage, it was only targeted 130 times, targeted 40 times less. Didn't have a historical rookie season. I wish I didn't know things. Sometimes that's what I wish. I wish I didn't know things. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl because I would call her. I just wish I didn't know stuff. I wish I was stupid like people at Chat Sports. I wish I was stupid like them. I really do. I wish I was stupid and ignorant. Because I always think of Animal House. So, in fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life. I wish. How about Cindy putting so much money into one position long term? Is that wise? No, it never is wise. Yeah, we got to the victor. Tension T. Brad says we just signed another backup linebacker to start 8 games in 55 years with 4 sacks. Breaking news. Tim, to be funny. Oh, I know EC1. I know you're being funny, dude. Sierra wants to be in New York's penthouse. She going to go to the Jets? Listen, I'm going to tell you this. And I'm going to Russell Wilson, I know you're listening. I know you're listening because everyone listens here, Russell Wilson. Everyone listens here. I know you're listening. But I'm going to tell you this right now, Russell Wilson. Ask Carmelo Anthony and Lala what happened when they came here. They got divorced. Just saying. Watching Belton infuriates me. It's like he runs blindfolded. Dane Belton does, man. I remember when Wink benched him in his rookie season. It was early in his rookie season. And he didn't get back on the field till the Texans game the following year. And it was only because of injuries. T-Brad, thank God Merritt decided to keep the continuity of losing by keeping Joe Shane. Mr. Alvarez says almost every secondary player Shane has drafted gets toasted on the field. The range from mid to terrible. It is really bad. Let's see. Tim, you got breaking news. Alert your Giants fans. We already got the breaking news. According to law, Dane Belton, Bellinger should have all been cut. And Phillips. Dane Belton gets burned by his own oven mitts when cooking. I love the breaking news. I was hoping the breaking news was what you call it. Aaron Rodgers and Jameis. If we miss Ward, draft the best player at 3 or trade down for old Quinn in the second round. That'll be perfect. I watched Quinn at the Combine in Texas. I don't see him being an NFL caliber cornerback at all. And I've said this before. And I'm going to say this a million times. I have been wrong, mainly on offensive linemen. But when it comes to the quarterback position, I've been scary accurate in regards to assessments. Going back to Daniel Jones and Kyler Murray, going back to Josh Rosen, people will say, "Well, you didn't get Malik Willis, right?" No, Malik Willis I've said it before because you said you should draft Malik Willis in the first round. No, I never said that. I just love when idiots say that. I'm not looking at you, Big Pat. I love when they say that because it wasn't true because you can actually go back and watch the videos. I even said he's going to need a year or 2 to sit, but he goes to Matt LaFleur, wins a couple games. He's only there for 10 days and beats some teams. And even Matt LaFleur says they don't make the playoffs without him, but whatever. Right about Kenny Pickett. I mean, the list can go on and on. Old Quinn, man, I just don't see it. Literally don't see it. He's an Easton stick. Greeny Green, what's up? I say trade any amount of picks to move up to Cam because Sanders won't draft a good player with those picks anyways. You're right. Shane won't. Can we trade our first rounder so Howie can make? I've said this before. Taz and Mr. Trent know this. Let's take our fourth round pick, send it to Philadelphia. Ask Howie to draft both our first and second rounders. because these are Philly's first and second round picks since 2000. And just take Jalen 1 on that list. That's the only one that flamed out. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 starters in 4 years. So, if we could do that, I'd be happy. Just look at that. Just look at that. Man, I got some. Yeah, we got some old pictures on here, man. I should get rid of some of these pictures. If I got rid of these pictures, then I can then I can put new pictures. So when I have to pull stuff up. Like this one. This is a good one. The Daniel Jones, Jalen Hurts contract comparison. That's me, of course, sitting in the Giant locker room, as always. But I'm not a real fan. There's me sitting in the Giant locker room. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girl. I would call her. Did the Giants just sign Joe Namath? They did. We signed Joe Namath. Joe Willie's coming out of retirement. OG says, Tim, they have two or should trade 2 quarterbacks into this year. I would think draft. I should rephrase. I think you should draft 2 quarterbacks this year. I really do. Big Mark Stewart's in the house. I think you should. We've said it before. Washington showed you the way. How many times? Twice. They took Heath Schuler and Gus Farad. Gus Farad had a better career in the same draft. They took RG3 and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had a better career in the same draft. Why not? Beckham's rookie year was surreal. Missed a quarter of the season and made the Pro Bowl. Yeah, but Malik Neighbors had the best Giant rookie season ever by a wide receiver. Come on, man. You don't know anything. Come on. Even though he was targeted 170 times. I think if you target me 170 times, I might catch 40. And I can get the same yak. And I love Malik Neighbors. But you have to admit, where was the yak? This is a guy, and it didn't come till the end of the season when it meant nothing. This is a guy that you would think by accident would break a big play. He did at the end of the year when it meant nothing. Shane is literally the guy at the bar who gets all the girls that no one else wants and brags about it. What's up, Big Mark? I gotta go. I'm walking home. What is this? I gotta go. Walking home, people trying to make me into roadkill. EC1, do not be roadkill. That is bad. Tim, what's up, Big Frank? I just joined. Let's see here. Can't the J-Men get a veteran who understands that better than me? It would be nice just to get a veteran quarterback. It would be. But I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see if we drop in the big... this is always fun. Let's see here. Let's see if anyone's around. Oops, what is that? I don't want to put on the Apple TV. I'm going to put it on the fucking Apple TV for. I can't cut and paste shit because I can't get the other damn thing to work. So I got 2 mice because I got to figure it out. Copy the link. We're going to put the link in the chat to see if anyone's around. Is anybody out there? Hold on. I got to turn the Apple TV off. Not now. Why is it doing this? I got a new computer. It's bigger, stronger, and faster. It's the Apple Studio, the new Apple Mac Studio, because I've been doing some other heavy edited video work. But the problem is I can't get it to work. Razzle the Great says, slap that like before Tim. Chat Sports should never have more likes than Tim. I think you're right about that. That's because we don't make shit up here. We don't make up breaking news. They make up, and I love it. I love when people send me the things. They have these rumors. There's rumors that the Giants are signing T. Higgins, Chase Young, Jamar Chase, Batman, and all these other people. And then nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. How do I do what? Zach? This damn mouse isn't working. Let's see here. I can't read it here. Come on. Do you think having a losing record by Halloween, Joe? I think Joe and them get shit canned. And I've said this before. I say Thanksgiving. I say if you're getting them fired, you fire them by Thanksgiving. Why not? Just get them out of the way. Tim? Oh, no. What's up, Brian? I hate to say it, but I think Ward and Sanders would be great quarterbacks, but not under the Giant organization. That's the other thing. That's another great thing. That's the other great thing. outside of college, Brian Dable, has he really been the quarterback whisperer? Really, has he been the quarterback whisperer outside of college? No. Josh Allen got better when Brian Dable left. Josh Allen won an MVP without Brian Dable. I love it because everyone talks about the quarterbacks he worked with in college. Look at Brian Dable's track record in the pros outside of Josh Allen, then get back to me. And to your point, can they cultivate a quarterback? We got to go with the big old super chat here. I just saw it from, I guess, what is it? I'm going to say All or Al L. I haven't seen you before, my friend. Can you find out who Joe Shane's son likes this year? If he says trade the farm to get Cam Ward and doesn't, I'll be pissed. We should. I don't know Joe Shane. Joe Shane's son. Does he have a Instagram account or a Twitter account or something? Because we should ask him. That's a great point. Because he, even in his infinite wisdom at 15 years old, or I remember how old he is, saying, "Dad, you're not going to have this job forever." I mean, he's looking to go. What's up, Kevin? Peace. He's looking to go back to Buffalo. Joe Shane's son's like, can we go back to Buffalo? OG agrees. Thanksgiving's gonna be the day. Clickbait titles, because their content sucks. You're right. The breaking news, he quotes sources, but never reality. So great. Someone said to me, "Why do you pick on Chat Sports? Is it because they have a bigger audience to do? Is it because they have no more views?" No, I have a life. So it doesn't bother me any. I pick on them because they're dishonest, disingenuous, and they lie. My subscriber base is between like 26 and like 50, which is why we get advertisers, and why I turn down a lot of advertisers. So we have that money zone. And I've seen the numbers before. Their fan base is like 12 to 17, because they have to go with they have to get the gullible people. The people that don't know better. Because if you know better, and I love it because people like, I used to love them, and then I started watching you, and I'm like, oh my God, they're fucking morons. My life is not predicated on the number of likes, clicks, bleeps, and poops I get. Not at all. My life is predicated. I always say, they always say is the measure of the man. The measure of the man is the friends that he has. And the people that he surrounds himself with. And I think a lot of people that we have in this chat, that have come over the last couple of years, I actually do consider to be family. Because of the fact that we hang out, go to games. We do things that aren't even giant related. And that's the most important thing to me in life. That I just enjoy talking to this group that we have, because I think, honestly, we probably have. And, I always love it because you always go to see these speakers and you always go to these professors, and they always say at one point in time at the end of the class, "You know what? This is the best class I've ever had. This is probably the most fun I've ever had. You are the most intelligent people I ever had." That's usually what they say at the end of seminars and things. But I can say it with all validity. There's some morons, but we walk in them. But I would say the majority of the people that follow this channel, the majority of people that hang out on these streams, are intelligent, not just Giant fans, but football fans. And that's what I would rather have. You can have 10,000 views. I'll keep my 2,000 and speak with fluidity to intelligent fans. This organization has no structure to develop one of these quarterbacks. That's what really does fear. That's what I really do fear. You're going to go out and get this guy. You're going to go out and get anybody. Let's say it's Jackson Dart. Just looking for the explosion. But let's say it is Jackson Dart. Are they going to be here in year 2 to cultivate this kid? Or are you going to... This is the other thing that I fear with them taking a quarterback and them getting fired. What general manager is going to want to come here when they know they can't select their own quarterback? They have to be in love with Jackson Dart. That's how Joe Shane and Brian Dable got the job. They said they could work with Daniel Jones. So you're going to have to bring in a general manager and a head coach that are going to be willing to work with Jackson Dart, because you know the Giants aren't going to get rid of him. You know this. You know it for a fact. I did not hear the implosion from Sweden.
What's up, Big Tim?
I did not hear it, Greg.
No, not yet, man.
And it would be a tsunami.
Yeah, tsunami.
Not a tidal wave. It's a tsunami if it's going to come. If it's going to come that far.
You're all right. You're all right. Oh, Tim.
I may look stupid, but I am pretty unintelligent.
Last stream you said about your worst Giants loss, right?
Yeah.
I can tell you a funny story. I was working in Iraq as a government contractor, right? And so I came home that Sunday to watch the playoff game, and I came home from JFK. So I get in the car, I'm like, cab driver, go to Long Island now. And so I'm rushing to get home, and then I grab a six-pack. I throw my suitcase in the house. I turn on the TV, and it kicked the fucking ball to Deshaun Jackson.
Oh yeah.
And he ran it back.
We talked about that. That was one of my worst Giant memories or nightmares. I mean, literally, Tom Coughlin told Matt Dodge, "Do not kick the ball in the middle of the field." And to this day, I was there. I still remember the ball going in the middle of the field. And I'm like, oh, we're fucked. But then Deshaun goes backwards, drops the ball. And then I'm like, okay, drop the ball. Going to get him there. Everything's good. Runs backwards again. Runs into the stands. Goes home. Turns off the stove that he forgot about. Ran back, kissed the wife. Went down to Gino's, grabbed the cheesesteak. Came back in. Made sure his uniform was clean. Ran back on the field, and then ran the motherfucker in for a touchdown.
That was the most craziest thing ever seen.
That play took forever, and then what Coughlin did to Dodge after that game, I was like, I cannot remember a time that a head coach went up to a punter after a loss and started yelling at him in the middle of the field. Don't you kick the ball in the middle of the field?
You kick it out of bounds, you dick.
Yes. And then Matt Dodge never played in the NFL again.
Nope. No box.
I mean, what do you think of Azeez Ojulari going to the Eagles?
Ojulari, he gets a lot of sacks when he's healthy, but that's
key.
Very often more, right?
Yeah,
I mean, all the time.
Yeah,
and once again, we got no compensation when Detroit could have used a defensive pass rusher.
Nope.
Again.
Yep.
When you need draft compensation,
we don't. He's like, I'm on the phone. Go back to the artwork. Is that from your kids?
Yeah, that's from my daughter.
That's what I thought. I was like, all right. I just thought you had some free time.
No, I'm cool. I'm chilling.
You had some free time. It did some finger painting. That's what I was saying. We had a great movie. Aspie's like moving video, nice. We had a great comment in I think it was Razzle. Yeah, it was Razzle the Great, 'cause I still have it up. If let's say we get either Shador or Cam Ward, do you have any confidence in this organization cultivating a quarterback? Because you haven't really done it since Eli Manning, and before that, if you go back through the quarterback lineage, you haven't really brought in a homegrown talent and cultivated since Phil Simms. So you went from 79 to 2004 to now 2025. Do you have any confidence in this team cultivating whatever quarterback they may draft, even if it's Jackson Dart, let's say?
Jackson Dart, I don't have hope, period. But Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, Brian Dable, I don't think he's a quarterback whisperer that people say he is. He runs a basic RPO offense. Nothing's really razzle-dazzle. Nothing really so innovative. No, I do not, Tim, to be a short answer. No, I do not.
Because to your point, what Chat Sports won't talk this candid to you ever. Pull the plug, smash that like. Well, I don't remember what I said now, but thank you. I'll take that comment. I don't know. I don't remember. I forgot what I said already. But literally to your point, Josh Allen got better when Brian Dable left. Josh Allen won his first MVP when Brian Dable left. Everyone talks about how he cultivated quarterbacks in college, how he had Jalen Hurts and this guy and this guy. But what has he done in the pros outside of Josh Allen?
You know, Josh Allen's like a just add water prospect. You know,
Right.
there's not much you have to do. It's like,
I've said this before. I think I could go to Buffalo and be the offensive coordinator for like a game and tell Josh Allen, throw a touchdown. And then he goes out and throws a touchdown. Be like, see, I told him to do that.
yeah,
Doesn't mean I could do anything.
no. But you know, like Allen is that guy, man. Like he has a like a cannon arm, and he's one of the best, man. One of the best.
Yeah. You and I talked briefly about this, but free agency is wrapping up. I think most people that have graded the draft have given the Giants anywhere between a B- and a C+. And outside the Debo sign, if he's healthy, and the Holland sign, and people forget Holland did not have a great year last year. Outside of that, the rest is suspect. There are a bunch of guys that were probably going to be third, fourth day signings that we signed day one. What kind of grade do you give the current Giant free agent class?
D+.
Really?
I can explain why. I think the cornerback, if he hits, is going to be good, right?
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but like I said, I broke an ankle before, right? A fractured ankle, right? It took me a year how to walk again.
Right.
And so I'm not playing American football either. So
Right.
if you broke a femur, which is like a major caveman bone, like I don't know. I like the safety signing. I think this is very
I
good.
like Holland.
Yeah.
I like Holland. I do understand people's points where they're saying, especially with Holland, that you could have signed Xavier McKinney. I mean,
there we go again.
McKinney only got like $2 million more to go to Green Bay.
And you've seen how the defensive secondary regressed when they lost McKinley. You've seen what's the cornerback Banks, how he regressed because that's his help.
Yeah.
On that side.
And we actually talked about this, and I think you bring up an astute point, and we did talk about this on the stream, I think a couple times. Tay Banks's play went down because he had poor play by Pinnock, Belton, and at times Tyler Nubin behind him. So he's getting no over-the-top safety help.
Right.
But we don't want to talk about that because that would be like smart football talk. Let's talk about the Giants going out and trading for every single person that's available, except for Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers, man. Like if Joe Shane has to put his foot in the he has to draw a line in the sand. Like Aaron Rodgers, you have 12 hours to respond. I'm just going to go somewhere else. I understand if I was Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't rush. Why would you rush for this team?
No. He said he may wait until the draft. Do you have a ghost?
We have no time for that.
No, but do you have a ghost in your house because that light keeps going off and on?
Yeah, I had this stupid blinking light. I have to change it. It's driving me crazy.
Oh, okay. I was like, do you have a ghost there in Sweden? Because I keep seeing the light going off and on. It's killing me.
It's the ghost of Eli Manning.
It's the ghost. I wish it was the ghost of Eli Manning. I do. I wish the ghost of Eli Manning would go into Tommy DeVito.
Why did we re-sign him?
What do you think? Jameis Winston's in the building today.
Yeah.
What thought?
You're not gonna like this. What I'm gonna say.
Oh, don't even tell me you like Jameis Winston.
He's a Florida State guy. I like my Florida State guy. That's my alma. That's my favorite college football team. They suck.
You're right.
But Jameis is like this. Jameis he'll throw 40 touchdowns and throw 40 interceptions. He might be the cheaper alternative, which might be a good thing. I don't want to overpay for Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson. And I don't want, I don't know. I don't see any other viable option at this point.
But you being a Florida State guy, and I think you can attest to this. Jameis Winston is not known, even going back to Florida State, even throughout his entire pro career, of not being a film guy. of not being a guy that puts in the work to be an NFL quarterback. He doesn't study his. This is from Tampa, Cleveland, New Orleans. That he doesn't study his trade. That he's not a film guy. He rather rely on natural ability and talent. And I think that works out well when you're like maybe 19, but you're 32 and you're still relying on natural ability. I mean that's kind of, to me, that's kind of like I don't know, a red flag.
Yeah, I totally agree. Jameis Winston, probably still to this day, probably has a top 5 quarterback, probably one of the top 5 arms in the league. And like you said, he relies majorly on his arm and ability. He used to be a pitcher. He has a very strong arm. But you said, if you don't study the playbook,
I remember. I actually remember him playing baseball at Florida State.
Yeah. He's a very good. He has a very good arm, but kind of, I don't know why he doesn't put the work in. You know how we should use him? We should use him like how the year when Sean Payton had him, when he threw for I think a limited time, he had like 12 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So if we use him in that capacity, it might be a good signing.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to use him as a bridge for a rookie, I'm not. Well, first of all, here's the thing: I'm not using him as a bridge for a rookie as the mentor. Because I'm not having Jameis Winston mentor anyone.
Don't study your playbook and play the game.
I was like, what's his big thing at Florida State? He played a lot of PlayStation. And I think it was PlayStation 1 back then, 1 or 2 back then. And I remember actually people talking about that. He plays a lot of PlayStation. Doesn't study his book. He plays PlayStation. Sometimes, I guess some habits are hard to break.
But what do we do at this point? Like, we're going to lose out on Aaron Rodgers. If I were either of those quarterbacks with the probably Hall of Fame aspirations, I wouldn't really want to go to the Giants. What team is better off than people think is Cleveland, on both sides of the ball, I think.
It's funny that you mentioned that Cleveland, and I don't understand what people think Cleveland's terrible. Cleveland has some deficiencies offensively, but if you look at their team defensively, and you just re-signed Myles Garrett, they are not a terrible team defensively. They actually have pretty good defense.
They have a good offensive line. They have a good defense. They have good defense. They have good running backs. Maybe they get another one in the draft. Maybe just a quarterback a couple pieces away.
It's always great when you're just a quarterback away. we're only a quarterback away. There's
some delusional Giants fans that say the Giants are just a quarterback away.
There's some delusional Giant beat writers that say that.
Yeah,
I can literally think of about 20 things that are wrong with the Giants right now. Easily. I can look at. We've gone through it positionally and pointed out that you are relying on backups to start. And what the hell is that?
What happened?
I don't know what that is. I'm getting noise from something here. Hold on. We got the Hyundai sales event. I don't know what that is.
It's not me.
I don't know. Somehow we got the Hyundai new sales event. Well, evidently we have a new sponsor. It's Hyundai.
Hey, come on, get your Accord, guys.
Make sure you go out and get your Accord right now for only $49.95 a month, or how much a car costs. I own my cars, so I don't know. So I can't tell you. Big Greg, I'm gonna let you drop off because I want to get to the end of the chat because I got to leave a little early today. But I do appreciate you coming on and hanging out. It's always fun. Like I said it before, you and I figured out the other day that I have 2 years of eligibility left, so because of the JUCO rule. So I'm gonna look into the portal in a little bit. I might have to hit you up and ask you, where I should go, where that best deal is gonna come from. So.
One day I'm gonna have my girlfriend record me, and I'm gonna do a backflip live. And we're going to send it to Joe Shane.
Oh, so you got to do that because I will play that. I will play, and if you did that, I'm going to make this promise to you right now. If you did that, I will do an official 2-hour stream, and only I'll talk through the stream and only have that playing. I'll put up this green screen, and I will only play that in the background for 2 straight hours.
I think you have a deal.
All right, man.
All right,
man.
Love you, brother.
All right, Greg, I appreciate it. Talk
Peace,
to you
chat.
later.
Peace.
All right, that's big Greg. I always enjoy when Greg comes on. James Williams says that light bulb needs changing. I thought it was a ghost. Sitting there going, I see dead people. Hit the like. Let's get to 70 likes because I got to check out a little early because I got a bunch of stuff I got to do and I got to take care of the new dog. So hit the like button. We're at 62. I think we can get 70 likes before we leave. James Williams says chat sports is worse than the entertainer. That's not saying much. Listen, you know what you gotta give the entertainer credit. And does he even do videos anymore? I don't even know. He sticks with his stupidity. It's easy to change your mind about things and just make stuff up. He sticks to his guns when he's wrong. That's admirable. It really is. You know you're wrong, but you're gonna just keep plowing on through that you're wrong. I admire that. Jalen Hurts got better after Dable too. You're right, actually, Jalen Hurts did get after Dable. Big Greg, looking like I just from The Wire. I didn't see The Wire. Let's see here. Allen sucked his first year in college, well, of course it was his first year. Let's see here. Chad Sports Report sources say the Giants immediate sign a quarterback. More news at 2. Just in from Chad Sports. Water is wet. Jameis is black, so you got to take into that what you can make up. Chad Sports not worse than the entertainer. Lol, because at least they report news when it happens. But if you make up news, is that really reporting news? Oh, hold on. This just in. The New York Football Giants have just traded for Joe Burrows. They are giving Cincinnati a 7th rounder in the 2048 draft. That's true. Like I said, Chris doesn't make stuff up. He sticks to his guns when you shouldn't, but he doesn't make stuff up. You're right. I give Chris all the credit in the world for that. I'd rather a guy be clueless than be lying. Is that Jameis Winston? Razzle says the downside of Jameis Winston, definitely don't let the teacher guy out of you a quarterback. Nope, we're not doing that. The ghost of Eli Manning, the Tommy DeVito, the ghost of you know what it needs to be like? Because we talked about movies the other day. It needs to be that movie with Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore when he's a ghost. And I can't think of the name of the movie. And they do the pottery scene. Tommy DeVito and Eli Manning need to do the pottery. Ghost. It would be called Ghost. They need to do the pottery scene together so they can mind meld. I mean, Kyler Murray doesn't study. And it shows. And there's an old movie that I enjoy, which is to this day with Kurt Russell and Martin Short's Captain Ron. Captain Ron is the sea captain that's going to help the Harvey family take the boat from the Caribbean and sell it in New York. And, when the Captain Ron's biggest line is, it shows, the mom could be like, well, I work out and I do Pilates, and it shows. So that's my other favorite line in that movie, of course, as always, is, goals are important. Learn that in rehab. Razzle the Great says, blank, note Aaron Rodgers. Wilson is trash, but I'd rather have that guy than Aaron Rodgers. Let's see. Gino says, Winston is far from my favorite quarterback available, but he's a good locker room guy. He's 31. I don't know what the hate is because he doesn't study. This is going back to Florida State. He doesn't study. He doesn't work on his craft. He doesn't work on his trade. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers dumped him after a 5,000-yard, 33-touchdown season because they knew they were a playoff team. They knew they could potentially be a Super Bowl caliber team, but the guy threw 31 interceptions, and I forget how many fumbles. They get Tom Brady the next year and go to the Super Bowl and win. That's a problem. Omega Supreme, what's up? What's up, Omega? Mr. Shane, since you're leaving, no stone unturned. Cam Newton is still on the market. I'm sure he gets a good value for him. Reach out for Kaepernick. Jameis Winston never studied much like Vic because they believe in their physical abilities too much. Going back to another great movie, The Natural. In the very beginning, Roy Hobbs and his father are playing catch. Roy Hobbs, of course, one of my greatest baseball movie ever made. Roy Hobbs and his dad are playing catch, and Roy's dad looks at Roy and says, "You got a gift." And he goes, but he tells him talent is not enough, which was basically saying you cannot just solely rely on your talent. And that's what Jameis Winston does. Remember, we had Daniel Jones for our 6 seasons. No, I don't remember. Who the fuck is Daniel Jones? Rich says, any New York Giant player who makes big plays versus Philly becomes a fan favorite of mine. Razzle says, I can't get any worse than the year of Jake Fromm and Captain Longneck, Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon had a good season his rookie year in Tampa. People forget that. They didn't draft a quarterback next year because of Mike Glennon. Damn light. Could be worse. Could have been the fire alarm going off. Dan the Man says, when the Panthers took Corral, Matt Corral, Rule was gone the next season of GM, so maybe they should take Jart. I even said, you know what's funny that you brought that up? I even said that Jackson Dart reminds me of Matt Corral. I said this like a week or two ago on one of the streams. And what was funny is Matt Corral was at the combine throwing to the wide receivers, and he got into the mix with the quarterbacks so he could showcase his talent. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of times these guys that are arms for the combine, for the wide receivers and tight ends and running backs and everything, they're former players, and they get into sometimes, to do, make some throws. He threw, I think, the go route. He threw some out routes, Matt Corral. And I said it won't, and everyone wanted Matt Corral. I said, no. I kept telling people, stay far away from Matt Corral. I told people, go to Golden Corral before you go to Matt Corral. Or Corral, or whatever it is. I never know. After having Daniel Jones for 6 years, I need a polished palate cleanser. Please give us Camwood, I beg you. It's called Ghost. It is called Ghost. The Natural is the best baseball movie ever made. It really is. I have in my... I have a collection. I have a big collection. I collect a lot of stuff, because I don't know. I just collect a lot of stuff. One of my favorite things. Got to give big props. Did it before to Dennis Quaid. He sent me a picture. I signed it, and he signed it for me. It's from his movie Everyone's All American. Another great 80s football movie to watch. He was Gavin Gray, the Gray Ghost. But The Natural is, I actually have one of my favorite things is, I have two favorite things from The Natural. I have a script signed by Redford, Robert Duvall, and I can't remember, I forget who else signed it. The director signed it. And there is a scene in the movie when they're showing his baseball cards. They're showing sheets of baseball cards going up. I have an actual baseball card cut out of that sheet that I have somewhere in the house. I have somewhere in the house. I don't know. No to Joe Milton. If they cancel end of it on quarterback, then what? Cry. I think that's all we got left. We just fucking cry. We just make it a lot. We have 63 likes. I wanted 70, but I got stuff to do today. I got stuff to do today. I got 63 likes. I got stuff to do today. Dennis Quaid is awesome. Dennis Quaid did some great movies. One of my other favorite movies he did with Martin Short was Inner Space. But he's done a lot. Dennis Quaid's been in a lot of movies. But I don't know. They don't. Do they really just tell Russell Wilson, okay, I guess we don't have any other options. You can come on board. Yeah, that's a great point. That's literally a great point. Hey, Russell, everyone else turned us down, but you know what? You're the man. You've always been the man. Except for those other guys we tried to sign. You're the man. Oh, yeah, we didn't trade for you 3 years ago. And then when you came here and only wanted $1.6 million, we told you Daniel Jones is better. But you're the man. You're the man. How can I be the man when you're the man? Dennis Quaid is awesome. Well said, James. Dable's offense play calling is not creative, not exciting, just a lame duck offense. I can't wait for Joe. When he called his plays, everything was supposed to be wonderful. No to either one of those guys. No to either one of those guys. You know what's funny about Sam Howell? I think it was 3 years ago. I think was it 3 years ago now that Sam Howell came out, and we were on the field during the flag ceremony. We did the flag ceremony at the stadium, and we were on the field, and it was the Washington game, and Sam Howell was on the field because we were on the Washington sideline the way we ran the flag, and he was on the field, and I was standing right next to him, and he's 6'1", and so him and I are the same. We're pretty much the same size. But I didn't notice the dude was like 225, and this Sam Howell's a not a fat guy, but Sam Howell's a big dude. Sam Howell is he look if he was 2 inches taller, he would be that prototypical vision of an NFL quarterback. And I was very surprised about that. And I always tell people it's interesting that you have to really see these people, because when you see these players on the street, or you see them in events, like here's me and Tay Banks. If you look, I'm bigger than he was actually standing on the stage, but physically, like size wise, I'm bigger than Tay Banks. And it's the same thing with the Gray Ghost, the big running back. I'm taller and have broader shoulders than the Gray Ghost at 50 plus years old. But Sam Howell standing on the field, the dude looked like a player. And that means shit, because like I said before, Joe Milton looks like a player, but it doesn't mean he's going to be anything. It doesn't mean he's going to be anything special. But it's just kind of weird, though, when you see these guys and you think physically they're so much more imposing. It's like JMS. JMS, yeah, definitely. JMS is a big guy, but if you compare him to an average size center, he's smaller. He's smaller than the average size center. Sometimes these are just things that just make you, these are things that just makes me think. Special shout out to Major League. R.I.P. Bobby Uecker. Just a bit outside, tried the corner and missed. Classic Bob Uecker line. I love the one line when Bob Uecker's, he's drunk at the end of the game. And he goes, and he's doing the score wrap up, and he goes, the score wrap up is presented by RCA, and the Cleveland Indians had one hit. And then he pauses and goes, one hit? That's all we had, one goddamn hit. And then his play-by-play announcer, who doesn't do any talking, grabbed the mic and says, you can't say goddamn on the air. He goes, don't worry, nobody's listening anyways. Things that make you go, I think we're done. People will say I was done a long time ago. I want to thank all of the people that watched us on Instagram today. We did an Instagram connection today, and I want to thank the 80 people still hanging out on the YouTube, and I believe we still have another, I don't know what we got. We got another 162 following us over, 162 plus following us over on, I laughed, there's this guy, John Lund. It's called John Lund Unleashed Thursday. He does the show, and he actually, someone from his office reached out about coming on here. I didn't know who he was until recently, so I started following him, and so he's got 137 followers. 137 people are watching him right now on Twitter when we have 162 plus. So I don't know, John. I don't know if you're good enough to be on this show, because it's professionalism. Christ, I can't find. I had to turn off the Instagram thing. I turned it off. There's a little button. Instagram, you can only stream for an hour. There's a button that says Instagram has disconnected the stream. Currently disconnects stream after 1 hour for most users. If you want to continue streaming on Instagram, you can remove this destination and stream it and re-add it. Okay, anyone that watched the show, that seems like a lot of fucking work. That seems like effort. We Jameis Winston this show. We rely on natural talent like Roy Hobbs. We Jameis Winston it. Effort isn't just not there. The Gray Ghost. Z-Show's alive, $4 million. And he'll like double-digit sacks and stay. We know that's going to happen. It just might as well happen right now. The Gray Ghost. That was Gavin Gray. How many ghosts do you have on this team? Well, we know we have the Ghost Brothers. And we have the Gray. I actually call Eric Gray the Gray Ghost because of Gavin Gray and the movie. But we have
submitted for your approval.
the Ghost Brothers. Nobody needs to be afraid.
The other problem is, and I kind of hope we get Jackson Dart. I kind of hope, because with Daniel Jones gone, this was still one of my favorite clips outside of
King of the almost sack.
this is probably one of my other favorite clips, and I think it could fit in with Jackson Dart.
It's Daniel Jones, Captain Red Stripe Man.
I mean, we may have to just total that over to Jackson Dart. Tim LeVar says, "I'm here, Tim. It's late. Let's LeVar. It's late, man. It's 12:59. I gotta go at 1:00. Wouldn't it be the Ghost Triplets? All three of them on the team making impact on that side of the ball. It is the Ghost Triplets. Sorry, LeVar. Me and Romeo ain't never been friends. Casanova." All right, guys, it is 12:59 here. It's 12:59 here in the AM or in the PM. Well, I'd like to thank our sponsor today, RC Cola and Shasta. And you know what? This is Tim, this is New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Atlantic Blue LLC. It is 1:00. I want to thank everyone for coming on. I want to thank Big Greg all the way coming in from Sweden. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And you know what, guys? Appreciate you, but we're out of here.